The Wedges Project by Gaby, Morfin, Tapia, and Jarrett, Grala.
In this video, you will learn about our top 8 methods to reduce CO2 emissions over the next 50 years. Our first two wedges are electricity efficiency and transportation efficiency. With electricity efficiency, we will be able to save a wedge's worth of carbon emissions. And to do this, we would use better turbines, high-temperature fuel cells, and a combination of both in factories. The good about this is the price is fairly cheap, and it increases fuel efficiency by 20%. On the bad side, companies will have to spend more money than they already have to change their fuel. Next, transportation efficiency. If fuel efficiency is doubled from 30 miles per gallon to 60 miles per gallon, a wedge would be saved. This is possible if we use hybrid cars. The good about this is that in a few years, the money that you spend on the car will pay off. Also, you will be spending less on gas. The bad is that you would have to buy a new car and that there would be added cost to it.
The third and fourth wedges on our pyramid to reduce CO2 emissions are CCS hydrogen and fuel switching electricity. First, desirable fuel is burned and turned into water. Then, carbon must be captured and stored. The good things about this is it turns carbon into water vapor, but the bad things require building infrastructure to connect large hydrogen producing plants with smaller scale users. Users with safety hydrogen are also a factor. Also, fuel switching electricity, instead of using coal burning electric plants, it would be replaced with natural gas plants. The good thing about this is it deducts the number of coal used in the environment, but the bad thing is using natural gases will only produce half of the emissions of coal.
Nuclear electricity. Nuclear plants produce no CO2. If you would replace this with coal plants, it will cut down one wedge. The good thing is it doubles the capacity that a coal plant can make, and it doesn't take up a lot of land. The bad thing is that locals wouldn't want this in the town due to the fact of the nuclear waste. Wind electricity. Wind electricity is growing by 30% a year. The good thing, it replaces coal-based electricity. The bad thing, it takes up a lot of land for the windmills.
Our last two wedges are solar electricity and forest storage. With solar electricity, we would be able to use solar-powered panels to generate electricity through houses and companies. The good about this is that we will be using renewable energy and there will be no CO2 emissions. The bad is that it can require a lot of money. However, it can be paid off over time. Lastly, forest storage. Land plants contain carbon, but when they are cut down, the CO2 is released. The plants take in about 2 billion tons of CO2 per year. The good about this is that it's very cost efficient, and the plants will take in the CO2, and one wedge would be eliminated in 50 years. The bad is that we would need a lot of plants, and we would need to stop companies from cutting them all down.
In our opinion, the best CO2 reduction method would be solar power. Although it is expensive at first, it later pays for itself by eliminating more than half of the electricity bill. Solar electricity will last as long as the sun is shining. Also, they look nicer on a roof rather than telephone poles along the street. With these methods, we will be able to successfully
For the next 50 years.
maintain our CO2 emissions for the next 50 years.